So we'll go ahead and get started. Just thank you so much to everybody for coming. Like, as I said before, this is my first time like doing anything like this, and my first time hosting a workshop or like a Zoom call or anything like that. So hopefully it all goes well, and I really appreciate you all coming. Yeah, I think that's everybody started near enough now. So we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to start by introducing myself. I know most of you here on the call, but for anybody that doesn't know me that well, I just wanted to do a wee bit of an introduction and just kind of, yeah, like explain how I got into life coaching and all that. So I'm Quinn, obviously. I'm married. My husband's called Kaelin, and we have a wee 2-year-old, or sorry, not 2 years, she's going to be 2 in May, a wee girl called Mia. She was born in May 2020 during the first lockdown. I'm sure you all remember it was a very sort of challenging time for all of us. I live in May, just outside Newry. I'm sure most of you know it as well. I'm an interior designer, and recently I have started working as a life coach as well. So my plan is to do one of these workshops a month, probably towards the end of the month, and to keep them all free, just kind of as a way of sharing like my sort of experience and knowledge with you, and hoping that, you will all take something from it, it'll help you in some way. And yeah, just to share a wee bit about like what I do in my work as a life coach and all that. And I've added all of you to the wee Facebook group. If anyone isn't a member of it, let me know and I can send you an invite. But I'm thinking I might actually change the name of it after this to like Emma's monthly workshops, and then I can let you know about any future workshops I'm doing if you want to join, or you can like invite friends or anything like that. I think I have to send the invite link out, so you can let me know if you want anybody else added to it, and just to kind of grow a community of like-minded women, to sort of like help and support and encourage each other, because I know like for a lot of us we may be surrounded by like negative family members or friends, and it's not always like easy, if you like want to do something to better yourself, so it's nice to be surrounded by like other women that are in the same sort of situation. So a bit about my background. When I was younger, I suffered with social anxiety and depression throughout my teens and 20s, and sort of just learned how to like deal with it in my own way, without really any help, just kind of learned to sort of cope with it. And then after Mia was born in 2020, some of these issues resurfaced again. I went through like really bad postnatal anxiety and insomnia. Like I didn't sleep for probably about 8 months on end. Like it was just really sort of tough time. And I realized it was all kind of as a result of birth trauma that I had gone through. So to cut a long story short, I ended up going to counselling about this time last year, and found that really helped. And so alongside the counselling, I was like on a mission. I was going to do everything I could to overcome this, for my daughter and for my family and all that. So I decided to sign up for all these other like self-help classes. Like I literally did everything under the sun. Like I was a self-help junkie. And I found like all these classes I was doing, I was taking something away from all of them, and they were all really like benefiting me, and I could see the results. So sorry, there's another person joining. So yeah, so I was just determined to overcome this anxiety and all the other issues like in any way I could. So I signed up to like, I did a journaling workshop, I did yoga and Pilates, which I still do today. Like I love them. I did EFT tapping, I did color breathing, like all this random stuff that like you would never even like hear of. I like tried everything. I was like the guinea pig for everything. I even accidentally signed up for this senior citizen Tai Chi class. I didn't realize it was senior citizens. I only went for one class, needless to say. I couldn't really leave after joining. But it was ran by a lovely lady called Doris. So shout out to Doris, wherever she is. So anyway, as I was going through this was all over the course of about 3 months. And by the time I had sort of like finished these classes and things, I just felt amazing. Like I'd never felt better. And I started kind of opening up to family and friends and telling them like what I had gone through. And to my surprise, like so many of them like shared similar stories that they had gone through. They were experiencing anxiety or depression or some other kind of mental health issues. And I just thought to myself, like, I just wish there was a way I could package up all of this information and, all these skills that I've learned over the last few months and share it with other women, to help them. So then I came up with an idea for writing a book. So I wrote a book about all this last year called Life by Design. It's not released yet. It's kind of in the final editing stages at the minute. And I'm trying to figure out the whole publishing end of it. So if anybody knows anything about publishing, or if you have any tips on that, please let me know. So I'm hoping it's going to be released around Easter time this year. So I'll let you all know about that. But so to get back to the real sort of reason I get into life coaching. So I shared my idea for this book with my counsellor in my final session when I was like feeling, like so much better. But I sort of said to her, like, I think I'm going to need some sort of like writing partner or somebody to keep me accountable, because, like I'm kind of like this, like in the past, I would always have these big grand ideas and like, oh my God, like just become obsessed with it. Like I'm going to do this. And as the weeks and months would go on, I would kind of lose interest and I would just kind of forget about it. Like I would slip back into my daily routine and just, it would just sort of sit there as like a dream that I would never follow through on. So my counsellor suggested hiring a life coach. And at the time I was kind of like, I didn't really know what a life coach was. I sort of thought like, is that like Tony Robbins or something along those lines? Or, I sort of thought like it was only something that like rich Americans had. I didn't think it was something that like we had in Ireland. I didn't even know like life coaches were a thing in Ireland. So she assured me that they were. So I went on to find this amazing woman called Jackie Cromie from Omeath, who's actually on the call here today. Started working with her, and she's basically the reason I was able to get my book written in the space of 5 months. Like just, that weekly call with her really kept me on track. And then, I was able to send my weekly chapters to her and she gave me feedback and stuff. And it was just such a great way, to build in that accountability and to keep me on track and to keep me motivated. So I knew from my first session with Jackie, as soon as it was over, I just knew, I said to myself, like, this is like the most like incredible service and profession like I have ever come across. Like, I just think it's amazing. And I think everyone could benefit from this. So, and I knew it was just something that I had to like look into more. So I knew I just wanted to get myself trained up in this as soon as possible, so I could start offering this to family and friends like who were so badly in need of it, the same way that I was. And so last year I got my diploma in life coaching, and then I went on to do a diploma in psychology and cognitive behavioral therapy, and just all the things that I'm really interested in. And I think they go hand in hand with the coaching. They've really like helped me with that as well. So yeah, that's kind of the story of how I got into the coaching. I have been working with clients now one-on-one for the last couple of months, and I'm just absolutely loving it. Like, it's honestly like just such, a passion for me. And it's just amazing, like seeing, firsthand, like the changes in people's lives, the positive changes they're able to make, and, the results they're getting from it. And, it's honestly the most rewarding thing I've ever done. So if anybody is interested to learn like more about that, because I know it is still kind of like new to a lot of us, like this time last year, I didn't even know it was a thing. So if any of you are interested in learning more about that, we can discuss it, at the end. Like, you can ask in the Q&A session, or you can message me privately, or like I'm happy to arrange a phone call with you if you want to know anything more about it. And then I just also wanted to let you know that if anybody is interested in doing like one-on-one sessions, I am offering a discount to everybody here today as like a wee thank you for coming. So yeah, we can chat about it a bit more at the end. The other thing I wanted to say is I'm recording this live, so it's going to be available for people to watch back afterwards that weren't able to make it today. I'm going to cut it off as soon as I finish speaking, for the Q&A session, just because to respect everyone's privacy. I'm sure you don't want yourselves recorded. So but yeah, we can discuss it then. And just to let you know, it's only for the discounts, only for people that are here live. It's not for people that are watching it back, because I'm thinking I just want to do it for like the month of February. You don't have to like do your sessions in the month of February. It's just to book in the month of February. But if you don't want to do them to like March or April or later in the year, that's fine. Like the discount's still there. But I don't want people watching this video back in like a year's time and then coming to me like looking for a discount. So anyway, so yeah, that's enough about me. We'll get stuck into what you all came here for, the goal setting workshop. So the first point I wanted to talk about was the power of goal setting. So a lot of people tend to shy away from goal setting because they think, goal setting, it's going to add like an extra thing to their to-do list. It's going to be something extra, it's going to add to their anxiety. It's going to just, create stress, and it's just something that they just don't have time for. And I know that I felt that way for many years. I sort of thought like, oh, goal setting's only for like, really high achievers, and it's not something that like, it would just stress me out. But what I realized is the opposite is actually true. Like if you're somebody that suffers with anxiety, goal setting is actually an amazing tool you can use to alleviate anxiety. So I'll sort of explain a wee bit more about that. So in particular, writing down your goals is an amazing thing to do for relieving anxiety. So when you physically write down your goals, and I'm not talking about writing like notes in your phone, like that's great as well. Like if you're, out and about and you don't have like a pen and a notebook, but physically writing down your goals with a pen in like a journal or notebook or something, there is actual like science behind this. So the act of physically writing something down, there's a direct link between that and your subconscious, and it kind of like locks it into your subconscious mind. So it's kind of like when you think about, being back in school, the way like teachers would encourage you to take notes during class, or, to like handwrite your essays and stuff like that, or, to make notes while you're studying. It's because it really helps you to remember it when you write it down. And the same applies for goals. It really keeps it to the forefront of your mind, and it just locks it into your subconscious. So there is something like really powerful about writing it down. So then the other fact that I learned was that people who write down their goals are twice as likely to achieve them compared to those who don't write down their goals. So, and I've experienced that firsthand, there could be times where like I have something going around in my head, but like I never really do anything about it. Whereas if I actually take the time to write it down, it's just so much more likely to happen. And then the other point on that is that, like for so long, I would have been the kind of person that I would be lying awake to 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about things, and thinking about things, oh, I could do this or I could do that, but it's all just swirling around in your head, and like it's sort of making you feel like overwhelmed and stressed. But when you write it down, it gets it all out of your head. It just gives you such a sense of relief, and then when you actually start to create like an action plan, that just creating a plan makes you feel so much more in control and feel so empowered in your life. So I just think it's amazing, like the physical act of writing down your goals. So then moving on from that, just a few other benefits from like goal setting. So people that set goals, it just really keeps you so much more focused in life, and it stops you from worrying about like what's going on in other people's lives, and like getting involved in other people's problems or things that aren't really serving you, that like there's not really much you can do, but it's just sort of taking you away from your own life. So when you have a big goal or a big dream, it really keeps you focused on that, no matter what's going on in your external circumstances. And then the other thing is it adds so much richness to your life when you have a goal to focus on, and it gives you like a real sense of purpose. So you're not just kind of coasting through life, like letting life happen to you, like you're in control, like it's just, I just think it's amazing. There's so many benefits to it. So then like as you're working towards a goal, as you reach each milestone, it's just going to really improve your confidence and make you believe in your own ability so much more. So it's really brilliant. And then the other thing is it can really help to develop long-term healthy habits. So I have a client at the minute who has like fitness goals, and she was saying that she signed up for a half marathon last year, and she thought it was great. Like in the lead up to it, she was in the gym every day, she was training, she was eating really healthily and all that. But then as soon as the marathon came and went, she went back to her old like unhealthy habits, because she didn't have that thing to focus on. And my sort of advice on that will be like use your goal as a way to kickstart healthy habits, And then once you've achieved it, then your goal from there should be to maintain all of those healthy habits that you've set up along the way. It's not, an excuse to just go back, like maybe you need another milestone event, to keep you on track. But I think like it is a great way to kickstart those healthy habits. And if you can maintain them long term, like even better. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the wheel of life. So if you look in your workbooks, it's in there. There's 10 different sections in it. I'm not going to go through all of them. You just can have a wee look in your own time. But I've asked each of you in the workbook just to go through each section and score yourself out of 10 with how satisfied you are in that area of your life. So basically, the Wheel of Life is really just a tool that I use with my coaching clients. I usually use it in the first session, just to get an idea of what is happening in their lives. And then I'll typically use it maybe every 4 weeks to kind of check in with them and to assess where they are, and what kind of changes they've made and stuff like that. So the point of the Wheel of Life, it's not to make yourself feel bad. Like if there's some areas that you're scoring yourself an 8 in, that's great. But if there's other areas you're scoring yourself a 2 in, the point is not to beat yourself up for that. It's really just to kind of assess the overall balance in your life. And, maybe the areas you're scoring yourself a 2 in, maybe they're not that important to you or they're not a priority, and that's fine. But if it is something that you think you would like to improve, it's just a way to show you, this could be an area that I could set some goals in for myself. So I think it's just a really nice exercise to kind of get yourself started and thinking about your life as a whole. So I know I've asked each of you to come up with one main goal that you wanted to focus on for today's workshop. But after the workshop's over, I would encourage you to go through the Wheel of Life and to really think about each area and, think about even wee smaller goals you could set in each area. They mightn't be things that you want to do right away. There might be things that you want to do throughout the year, or little habits you want to build into your life, or there might be really simple things that you could do right away. But I think it's just to get into that habit of looking at your life as a whole, and then when you set these little goals in different areas, it really makes you feel like you are more in balance with your life. You're not neglecting areas that are important to you. So moving on from that, I wanted to talk about the next section is thinking big. Sorry. So so we all, each and every one of us, I think, has big dreams and big aspirations. But I think deep down inside us, but I think a lot of us tend to think then, oh yeah, but that's not realistic for me. I could never do that. I think this self-doubt creeps in, and we sort of talk ourselves out of doing something, but what I would sort of say to that is why not? If you have a big dream or a big goal, I would really urge you to explore that and to write it down in detail, whatever your wildest dreams are. Write them down. And I know some people feel kind of silly for doing this because they're oh, I know, but this could never happen to me. But why not? What is really stopping you? I think a lot of the time, we do have certain limitations on us that might, prevent us from doing everything that we've ever imagined. But a lot of it, I think, is really just down to your mindset. It's a lot of it is down to limiting beliefs and things that when you sit down and try and work them out, you actually could overcome them, without too much, work, so I know some of the limitations we come up against, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough energy, I don't have enough childcare. These are all very real issues. But if you have a goal in mind that you really want for yourself, you have a big dream, these are all just obstacles along the way that can be overcome, once you work out a plan. So I just it really breaks my heart when I hear people saying oh, I've always wanted to do such and such. I've always wanted to be a musician, or I've always wanted to be an actor, or, I've always wanted to start my own business, but I could never do that. I'm not good enough to do that. I'm too old now, or, I don't have enough money, or, and I just sort of think to myself, you're never too old. You're, all these things, people say oh, I'm not pretty enough to be on TV, or I'm not skinny enough, or, like all these things can, they shouldn't be stopping you. Like these are all just self-imposed limitations, and it really is down to mindset. So if you have like a really big goal, I just want you to write it down and, really envision like what your dream life would look like. And right, fair enough, it mightn't be something that that is attainable to you right now, but it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be attainable in 6 months or a year or even 3 years. So I just really want you to think about that, and just, the next time you catch yourself saying like, some of this like negative self-talk, like, oh, I could never do that, or I'm not good enough. Just, I want you to stop like putting yourselves down and playing small with your life, because, each and every one of us has so much potential. And, if you have like a big dream in mind, like like everything is figure outable. So yeah, so like part of this exercise, then when the workshop's over, in your own time, write out what your absolute dream life would look like. So I'll give you an example. Maybe you would absolutely love to have like, a live-in housekeeper and nanny, who like does everything around the house and like looks after your children, so you can have like more time to focus on growing your business. That's just an example. Not everyone's going to want that, that's just some like an example, throwing it out there. So write all that down. And then the point of this is you're really sort of looking for clues in that to see what is important to you. So it might mean that, what's important to you is making more time to grow your business. So then like break it down from that into smaller steps, like how could you get more of that in your life now without actually going and, hiring the live-in housekeeper and nanny and all that. Like, maybe you could hire a cleaner for an hour a week, to help you with some stuff around the house to free up a bit of time. Maybe you could hire like a local teenager to babysit for a few hours a week to free up some time as well. Maybe you could set up like a Tesco delivery to save you time going getting groceries, stuff like that, because all that's going to create more time for you to work on your business. So it's just kind of using that initial big dream as like inspiration, and then picking out wee sort of clues from that, and then brainstorming ways that you could sort of bring more of that into your life now. So I think that's a really good exercise to really like think big. So then moving on from that, the next step will be to get really specific. So say you had a goal, like I want to lose weight. Like I would say that is too vague of a goal. It sort of leaves too much room for interpretation. So I would suggest you get really specific with what exactly it is you want to do. So, and again, these are just examples. Like I know you will all have like totally different goals, but you could say something like, I want to lose 2 stone in the space of 3 months, by going to the gym 3 times a week, taking 10,000 steps a day, and cutting out processed food. And I want to do this, in time for my cousin's wedding on a certain date. So you're setting a deadline for yourself, and then you're kind of breaking it down into smaller steps, and you're giving yourself like little action steps along the way to achieve that. So so by setting your deadline, so say your deadline is 6 months time, or well, I said 3 months there, but say, you had another goal and your deadline was 6 months time. Work your way back from that. Like another example could be like, you want to make an additional £10,000 from your side business over the next 6 months. So break that down and work backwards. So in the next 3 months, then where do you need to be? You need to be at about 5,000. Then in the next 2 months, where do you need to be? In a month's time, where do you need to be? In a week's time, where do you need to be? And then even, break it down day by day. Like, so tomorrow, where do I need to be? How much money do I need to be earning per day to achieve this? So it's really like crystal clear in your mind. You've broken it down into such small bite-sized steps that it actually seems really attainable for you. It's not like this big, massive dream anymore. It's like broken down into like day by day steps. So yeah, going back to the weight loss example, if your goal was, I had said 2 stone in 3 months, that would maybe work out at £2 per week or something like that. So, it's just breaking it down. So when you look at it in that sense, it is quite manageable. It's not this big, like overwhelming thing. So I think when we do that, when we get really specific and break it down into steps, it just makes it so much more measurable and easy for us to stick with. So the next point is defining your why. So I think this is a lot of things, a lot of people kind of miss this step in goal setting, but it's so crucial. So an example I have here is maybe you have a beauty business and you want to start offering a new treatment to your clients, or maybe you want to increase your prices or something like that. Or another example could be, maybe one of your goals is to start up an Etsy store. Like maybe you've been making jewelry on the side for a few years and you want to start up an Etsy store or something like that. Ask yourself, like, what is your true motivation for doing this? If you say to yourself, like, oh, it's just going to be something on the side, I just want to make a few more pounds for myself or whatever, like, that's not really going to keep you going when times get really tough. So, I would sort of urge you to really think about, like, what is your motivation behind wanting more money? Like, what is that really going to mean for your life on a day-to-day basis? So you need to get really clear on this, like, what is it that's going to keep you motivated in the face of challenges? So like, yeah, okay, maybe you're going to make more money, but what's that going to mean, in your life every day? So using the Etsy store example, so maybe you or someone that is, has been working in a 9-to-5 office job, for years, and that's, all you've ever kind of done, but you've been making jewelry on the side for a couple of years and you're really passionate about it. You've been like selling them just a wee bit here and there to family and friends, and everybody loves them, all that. And it's been your dream to kind of quit your 9-to-5 and do this, full time, so you can work from home, you can have more time with your kids, all that. So if you look at that example, that would kind of be the motivation. Maybe it's you want to build in more flexibility to your life, you want to have more time with your kids at home, you want more independence. So those are all really, it's not just the money that you're doing it for, it's all these other reasons that you're doing it for. So that's going to keep you going. If you're having like a really tough day and you're having like an argument with your husband or something, you're, I don't know, you've had loads of cancellations in your business, or there's just something that's not, you're just not feeling great. Like, if you come back to that reason, that's going to really keep you motivated. So I would advise you to create an affirmation around that. So examples would be like, I am creating more quality time with my children. Or even more simply, I am doing this for my children, I am building my empire for my children. Or, it could be something else. It could be, I am doing this for myself, I am doing this for my health, for my independence, or, like, just whatever it is that motivates you. Create an affirmation for yourself, make it really simple, something that you can say every day, and it's just going to bring you back to those reasons why you started. So yeah, as I said, like, this is going to really help you when times are tough, because you're not always going to feel like, really enthusiastic and energized about it. So yeah, that's like defining your why. So sorry, I'm just going to take a wee sip of water here. So the next step is creating your vision board. This is probably my favorite part of the goal setting process and the most fun. So I don't know if any of you have ever read the book The Secret, but if you have, you've probably heard about vision boards, or maybe you have like dabbled with them in the past yourselves. But basically, a vision board is a tool to really help you increase your optimism, stay motivated, and achieve your goals. So you can either do a physical one where you like print out images, or you can do like a Pinterest version, or there's like loads of apps out there now that you can create like wee vision boards on them. So my favorite would be the physical one. So I'll just sort of talk you through like how I would make mine. I would actually use Pinterest first, and I would just like go and like find all these really inspirational images, anything that like I was kind of relating to my goals, or that was really, that I sort of found really inspiring, like that related to my dream life. I would find all these images on Pinterest, and then I would also get some really positive affirmations to go along with them. And then I would pick kind of like my top few and then get them printed. I actually use the free prints app. It's amazing. You get like 40 free prints a month with it. So I use it, and then I just stick them onto like a big piece of card on my wall, stick them up in my bedroom, and like I see that every day. I see it every morning, every night when I'm going to bed and all that. So that's like another sort of thing to like put it in a really prominent position where you're going to see it. Now, I know some people probably feel like embarrassed to like stick it up if like you're, with your family seeing it or whatever. So you could always put it inside your wardrobe door, so only you see it every time you open it. But like I'm kind of past caring at this stage. Like Kaelin, my husband, just thinks I'm a wee bit nuts anyway. So I don't think he passes any remarks of my big like vision board in the corner. So yeah, so another wee tip I have for you is if there's somebody like on Instagram or social media that you really admire, maybe it's like a blogger, like, I don't know, like a beauty blogger or an influencer or celebrity or something like that. Use that, like you can, take photos of them, or I mean, like, print off photos of them and put them on your vision board. If they have like a life that you aspire to, that's, going to be a great motivation for you as well. And I often hear like clients talking about being like really jealous of somebody that they see online. And I sort of, like somebody that sort of has everything they want, and they're like, why can't my life be like that? And I sort of encourage them to turn that around into a positive, to say like, rather than being like jealous and resentful of them, why don't you like get in touch with them and like, ask them for some advice, and, put them on your vision board and use that as a way to inspire and motivate you. So it's just kind of a different way of looking at it. So a vision board's really going to remind you again of why you're doing what you're doing. Another thing you can do is also put it on if you're doing like a digital version, put it on the background of your laptop or your phone. But you might want to do like a smaller version, obviously, if it's going on your phone, or just pick like one sort of main image. So I kind of do all of the above. I just think the more you can surround yourself with really positive, uplifting, inspiring images and affirmations, the better. So I ended up taking it one step further. So last year, when I started working on my vision board last year, I was kind of like, I can't fit all this on one board. I'm going to have to do a board for each area of my life. So I now actually have like a vision corner, I call it, in my bedroom. It's just like full of stuff. And like it honestly, it's just crazy how it works. Like just from having that there and seeing it every day, like I actually realized, so that was like April time last year I did that, and I wanted to do a new one like for the new year. So a few weeks ago I was like working on some new things to add to it, and I was actually looking at the old one, and I realized I could take most of it down, because like literally about 80% of the stuff I put on that board I have in my life now. And like I'm definitely not saying that to brag, I'm just showing you like the power that has, like creating a vision board. I know a lot of people think it's just like a gimmick or something, but I honestly do believe it's so powerful. And, like all the things that I was able to achieve, like it didn't really feel like hard work. It just sort of felt like they were just coming into my life. And I really think it was because, that, my subconscious was sort of, attracting these things that were on my vision board. So, yeah, so let me see. Yeah, another wee tip for things you can do if you don't want like a big sort of messy vision board in your corner, if that like, would just sort of like stress you out looking at something like messy. You can also think about the artwork around your house, so you could if you have a goal to like visit a certain destination, you could get a picture of that place and put it in your house, and then like you're seeing it every day. So it's just another wee sort of way you can incorporate it. So I'm going to go into a wee bit of the theory behind vision boards. So some of the world's top athletes and celebrities swear by them, and like visualization in general. So Conor McGregor is a big one, Jim Carrey, Oprah, Jennifer Lopez, like they all swear by using vision boards, and they accredit their success to them. They're also used a lot like in therapy. Like therapists often give their patients like vision boards, as like a wee sort of homework assignment to work on. And it really is, like I can see why, because it really is so therapeutic. You wouldn't think it would be, but it really is. It's just, especially the physical ones, like the whole act of, researching these images, printing them out, sticking them on, and then really like, visualizing like your future. There's something so therapeutic about it. So you might be wondering, like, how does all this work? So there is actually a lot of science, a lot of research being done into it now. So similar to the physical act of writing down your goals, when we create a vision board physically, it trains our subconscious mind to scan our environment for opportunities that will bring us closer to the things on the board. So it's actually like the perfect hack if you're it's the perfect hack for the lazy woman that can't be bothered, going out and like, obviously there will be things you need to do along with this, but like it can't hurt just having a vision board up there and putting your subconscious mind to work, to help you. I like to think of it like you're like placing an order with your mind, like you're telling your mind like, this is what I want, so I'm going to just put it up here. I'm going to sort of like not forget about it, but I'm not going to like obsess about it. And you're letting your subconscious mind go to work for you without you even really having to try. So I just think it's fascinating, the whole like science behind it and all that. And like, it really does work in my experience. It's definitely worked for me. And another wee point that I learned was that there was a study done that shows 2/3 of small business owners say that having a vision board has helped them achieve their business goals. So I thought that was really interesting. And I just think like it's such a fun activity. Like there's no harm in giving it a go. And, I think it sort of makes the whole process more enjoyable for yourselves as well. So the next point I'm going to move on to is using a diary. So I'll actually just show you the diary that I have here. I don't know if you can see that. It's called the Head Plan. That's it there. And I got it as a Christmas present, and it's just lovely. Like it's actually an Irish company, and they make these it's like, I think it's called like a productivity and wellness journal. But it's so, and they're actually really affordable, like they're not that expensive. So it has like a monthly calendar at the start for each month, and then it has like a weekly goals section. It has like a 1 page per day view, for making to-do lists and things like that. And then it has like a wee weekly reflection area, to go over your week. And there's a section for writing like what you're grateful for. And then there's wee like inspirational quotes along the way, to kind of keep you motivated. And I think it's just lovely to go and like buy yourself something like that, something you wouldn't usually, spend like 20 or 30 pound on. Just buy yourself like something really nice and a really nice pen that you're going to really enjoy using. Like I just love, ticking off the things on my to-do list every day. I don't know if these are like me, but I get so much satisfaction out of that, and I just find it like rewarding. And then every evening I go through it and make my wee to-do list for the next day. And it just sort of makes me feel like more in control. And I think if you're somebody that suffers with anxiety, that's, really important for you to feel like, you have control over your time and your day, and things aren't just being thrown at you randomly, like, you're being more proactive rather than reactive. So on a Sunday evening, I like to do like a review of my week, and then sort of plan my week ahead, for anything I want to do differently or anything like that. And then, so the first thing I would advise you to do is, when you get your diary, is to put in all your important dates. So family and friends, birthdays, any events, occasions, nights out, weekends away, dentist appointments, like put all of that sort of essential stuff in there first. So then once you've done that, work out when you're going to make time for working on your goals. And I think when you do this, it kind of shows you, I know like a lot of us think like, oh, I really don't have time. But when you sit and plan it out, hour by hour, even like 15 minutes here or there, like it shows you probably do have more time than you realize. And even if it is only an hour a week to work on your goal, like that's still great. It's still better than not doing anything. So an example could be like, if one of your goals is weight loss, put in the times into your calendar when you're going to go to the gym or like a class or something like that. Or, maybe you're interested in going back to uni or doing like an online class, block off an hour in your week where you're going to like research that class online, because that still counts as a step, towards your goal, and slot all of these wee things in. So then set up milestones for your goal along the way. So using the weight loss example, like a wedding could be the end point. But then maybe, you have a friend's birthday coming up in a few weeks' time, so that could be a milestone along the way. So sort of thinking like, where do I want to be at that stage? So this is really going to help you to create structure and accountability. And it's going to allow you to tick things off as you go, and that again is going to give you like a real sense of satisfaction. And another point is it's going to help you to track your progress every week, and it's just going to really help you to stick with your goals. So having a diary, I think, is essential to goal setting. So the next point is building in accountability. So as I mentioned before, I think we can all have moments where we feel like really inspired to take action. We have this great big idea, and we like do it for a couple of weeks or a month, but then after a while this excitement can kind of fade away and we just slip back into like our everyday lives and sort of forget about it. So this is where accountability comes in. So I would say for the majority of us, accountability is the main thing that determines whether or not we achieve our goals. So thinking about like different ways you could build accountability into your life. You could maybe ask a friend to complete a goal with you. Like I'll share like a funny story from one of my clients. She was saying that her and her sister both wanted to lose a certain amount of weight for a wedding that they were both going to. And what they did was they bought a dress. So they're both like the same size. They bought a dress between the two of them, like a really fancy, like expensive dress that they both really liked, and in a size smaller. And they made a deal that whoever reached the goal weight first got to wear it to the wedding and to keep it. So I just thought that was brilliant, because I was like, that it's making it lighthearted and fun, but it's also, you're creating a wee bit of competition, a wee bit of a challenge there, and you're going to keep each other going. So it's just like, I thought that was actually a brilliant like strategy. So maybe you could use that as like a wee idea for some of your own goals. Another thing you could do is to sign up for a class, whatever it is, if you want to learn a new skill or something, or you want to go back to Open University or something, sign up for a class. And if you can, pay up front, because then that's gonna mean that you're going to stick with it. You're not as likely to just not go if you're not feeling up to it on that day. Another idea would be, if you want to walk more, like say you want to walk every day but you're struggling to like stay motivated, get yourself a dog. Like that's what I did. I feel like on the days where it might be raining, or I'm just like, oh, I can't be arsed going out here, then I look at her wee puppy dog eyes and I'm just like, okay, like I have to go. Like if she doesn't go for a walk, she'll get all depressed and sad. Like, so that keeps me motivated to go for a walk. So there's loads of wee things. It doesn't have to be something grand. Like it can just be like some wee things that are going to help you to stay accountable. Another one, of course, work with a coach or a mentor. And maybe you could ask one of your managers in work, would they be your mentor? Another tip I have for you is, I don't know if you've heard of the organization Women in Business, but they're an amazing organization. They're based in Northern Ireland. They run a mentorship scheme, I think twice a year, and I'm actually part of it this year. So if you're interested in it, I can send you the details for applying for it, but it's actually free. I think you pay like a £50 admin fee or something, and then it's free, and it's for a whole year, and you get like and like the mentors sign up for it are like unbelievable, like the experience they have. They're like really like women that are like on top of their game, and like they're amazing people. So yeah, I signed up to it, and I have a monthly call with my mentor, who is she's like an executive business coach. She's actually like semi-retired. She's probably in her 60s, but she has like 30 years experience, and she normally charges like £500 per session to work with her, and I'm getting this for free because I like signed up in time. I think it's like a first come first serve basis, but like the advice she has given me so far, I'm just like blown away by it. So it makes a massive impact, when you have somebody in your life that can sort of help and support you or offer advice. And again, it creates accountability, because the things we're discussing in one call, she kind of gives me like almost like homework steps for the next one. And I'm like, oh God, I have to get this done, because I have my call with her. It's all things I want to do. But if I didn't have that call with her, I think, I wouldn't be as, motivated to do it, I suppose. So yeah, just like have a think about it, like brainstorm different ways you could create accountability into your own life that would help you achieve your goals. And then when you've done that, schedule them into your diary, so you remember them. Yeah, so the next point is giving yourself rewards. So this is a really important step for keeping yourself motivated and staying on track as well. So I would advise you is to decide on like a small reward you're going to give yourself each week for sticking to your goal. So I would just say within that, try and really think of like healthy rewards, things that are in alignment with your goals. So, if you're working on your fitness goals, like maybe like a family size bag of Maltesers isn't going to be the best reward for you. So try and think of things that, are going to complement your goals, but something that you're also going to look forward to. Like examples could be, like having a bath, listening to some relaxing music, lighting some candles, having like a wee self-care evening, maybe like on a Friday night or something that you look forward to. Buying yourself a new book, listening to a new podcast, or maybe meeting a friend for coffee or a hike, or trying a new yoga class together or something. Just like some wee thing every week that you have in your diary and you're looking forward to. That's going to really keep you on track, with your goals, and it's going to make it so much more enjoyable for you as well. It's not going to feel like something you have to do. It's going to be like, well, when I reach this step, then I get my reward. So, I'm looking forward to it. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was staying consistent. So I would advise you to really to write your goals out every day, even if it only takes you 5 minutes in the morning or evening, because like, and I know this might sound like hassle because you're like, oh, I don't have time to do that. But even like one sentence, or as I said, your affirmation, like one thing that's going to remind you of that goal, like do it every day so it stays fresh in your mind and it keeps you consistent. And it's really going to keep your vision just going. And, if you build it into your habits, if you do that every morning for like 30 days in a row, you're going to automatically just keep doing it and it's going to become easier for you to do. So I've done a lot of research into the mindset of like, the world's like wealthiest people, like millionaires, billionaires, all that. And one thing that they all have in common is that the majority of them write their goals down every day, and they say that that's what keeps them focused. They're not just kind of coasting through life, like they are starting each day with an intention, and they're always coming back to that no matter what life throws at them. So I just think that, we can all take something from that, with like, helping ourselves stay consistent. So the final point I wanted to talk about is celebrating. So I know it's not easy to set goals, and, it's not easy to stick with them. So, when you do achieve your goal, I want you to really take time to celebrate. Because I think a lot of us move, from goal to goal, and just sort of thinking as soon as we achieve one thing, it's on to the next thing. But I think you really need to take time to like, just be in the present and just, be happy with where you are, before like diving right into the next thing. And I think when you take time to celebrate, it's gonna like anchor that feeling of like happiness and joy, into your mind, and it's gonna motivate you then for the next thing that you move on to. That, it's gonna just like, you're gonna be thinking like, I really want to, get this feeling again, so it's gonna keep you going with the next goal that you work on. So decide on like how you're gonna celebrate when you achieve your goal. So maybe it's a holiday, maybe you're gonna book somewhere to go on holidays. Maybe it's a night out with friends, or maybe you're going to throw a party or something, but do something kind of big that like you're going to really look forward to. So as I said, like it's okay to always strive for more, but I think it's also really important to just be at peace with the person you are, right now as well, and like, I think it's really nice to take time to reflect on your achievements, once you've accomplished something, and not like dive straight into the next thing. And, also you don't have to wait until you've achieved the goal to celebrate. Like you can celebrate your progress along the way. And like, if you don't reach your exact target, like definitely don't beat yourself up. Like any progress you've made along the way, is amazing. Like, had you not set a goal, you probably wouldn't have done anything, so like celebrate yourself, for putting in the effort, and just, be so proud of yourself. And I think you're all on the right path. You're all signed up for this workshop today, so it just shows that you are all committed, to making a positive change in your life. So I think you should all like give yourselves a pat on the back and just be so proud of yourselves for, taking that first step. And I always say to my clients, it's like, I think a lot of them struggle with, working on goal setting and stuff, because they're like, oh, I don't have time for that, or, it's selfish to focus on myself. Like, I have children and like they come first, and like I don't have time, to be doing all this. But like I always come back to the oxygen mask analogy. So you have to put on your own oxygen mask first before you can help others. So, like if you're running yourself ragged, if you're always putting other people first, that's going to leave you completely drained, depleted, like no energy, no motivation, all that. And that's not going to be good for your family or for anyone else. So I really think it's so important for you to take the time to focus on yourself, make yourself a priority for once, and, fill yourself up with all these, like great emotions, achievement, accomplishment, passion, all that. And that's just going to filter through to the other people in your lives. So yeah, that was kind of everything I wanted to say. I hope you have enjoyed that, and hopefully you will be able to apply like some of the tools and techniques I described there in your own lives. So just another note, yeah, I wanted to talk about, I had said about the coaching sessions, if anybody is interested in that, about the discount. So if you are curious, it's normally £40 a session that I charge, but I'm happy to do them for £30 a session here for the first 4, if anybody here is interested in it. Like the offers there, it's for the month of February, as I said. And you don't have to do them in February. You can just contact me if you want to get booked in for later in the year. The offer still stands. Just if anybody's interested, but like obviously no worries at all. Like I'm still going to be running these free workshops every month, because I want to make it, accessible to everyone. And if you enjoyed this, I would really appreciate, sharing it on Facebook, Instagram, and, sharing it with your friends. Like if you think one of your friends would get something from one of these workshops, invite them along to the next one. Like I think, the more people we can get, the merrier, and it's gonna just, help in building this community of like-minded women, as I talked about. So yeah, so it's going to be the Facebook group. That's kind of going to be where I'm going to be posting everything, all the details on that. So for the next workshop, as I said, I'm going to try and do a different topic each month, and I would love your feedback or ideas if anybody has anything that they would like me to cover. Like there's so many different topics we could talk about, but something that was floating around in my mind was I was thinking of doing something around building confidence. Because I know that is something that's probably the number one issue that all of my clients have is, a lack of confidence in themselves. And a confidence, when you like work on that can apply to every area of your life. So I was thinking that would be maybe a good topic for the next one, but you can let me know your thoughts, if you have any suggestions or ideas. Just because I know that has kind of been my biggest hurdle. Like I've always been very sort of shy, quiet, reserved. Like I'm like the world's biggest introvert, but like in saying that, I still do love being around people, and I love, chatting to people and helping people and all that. So, but like doing something like this, if you had told me this time last year I would be hosting a Zoom call to like all these women, I would have been like, oh my God, like never in a million years. But like it just shows you, like I've really worked on my confidence over the last year, and it just shows you what is possible. If I can do it, it's possible for anybody. And the same applies to your goals. If I can do this, there's no limit to what you can all do in your own lives. Anything's possible. So yeah, that was really all I wanted to say.